everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah, that's better. Let's try that again. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is a celebration, remember? Okay, so I want to thank you all so much for being here this evening. I know this is a crazy week. When we scheduled this way back when, we thought it was going to be the second to last week of school, and well, we saw how that turned out. So thank you all for being here when there's such a zoo of other things happening. But we are all here for a very important special reason, and that is to celebrate our change makers. So we have now completed year 2 of change making, which is phenomenal. I mean, for those of you who were here last year, it felt like we had just won a Super Bowl finishing our year of change making with Leominster and Fitchburg Public Schools as our partners. This year was a whole other level of success, in my opinion. So we had a lot of the same ingredients that made last year successful. We had a blend of teachers, guidance counselors, paraprofessionals, administrators, all representing different perspectives, wanting to make education better. But what happened this year is I think our change makers really got it that much more. And we really saw people transform and blossom. And all around you tonight, you have examples of some of the things that they've been able to accomplish this year. So with change making, what we're really trying to do is create that next generation of young leaders and teaching young people that they have a voice. And not just doing that with supplemental programs like Youth Venture, but to have that be how education is done every day, everywhere. And so thank you for those of you who are our crazy ones, as Devin has called you this year. You're the innovators and the people who are willing to step out there on a limb and take a risk and to do something in your classroom that have people scratching their heads. That may be controlled chaos at times. I'm looking for Kim. It maybe sounds like controlled chaos in your room. But we really appreciate all of you for doing those things. So if you haven't already, I hope that you will take a chance to go around to all these different displays that are up here. There are some pictures and posters on the wall that are showing different types of transformation that happened, whether that was a mindset shift, maybe it was some sort of curriculum integration, maybe there was systems change, maybe there was some cultural change. Those are the areas that we're looking to make an impact with this change-making philosophy. And so what I want to do right now is just give you a couple bits of information. Before I get into that, I just realized I did not introduce myself. My name is Lauren Mountain. I'm the director of the United Way Youth Venture program at Mount Wachusett Community College. And And within this beautiful group of people, we've got some extra special guests as well, so I just want to recognize them real quickly. So we have President Jim Vanderhoeven, who is the president of Mount Wachusett Community College. Jim, do you want to come up and say hi? No? Yes? Okay.
Thank you, Lauren. Good evening, everyone. This is really an exciting night to come up here, not just because of how beautiful the weather is, which is very nice, given the way that the morning started out, but also it's such an inspiration to walk around and see the results. And I'm very thankful, Lauren, for the work that you do with this program, because it's not easy to build consensus and to build partnerships across different cities and regions and programs and projects and schools, and you've done a great job of doing that. It's interesting to go into a job and be told, we would like you to change the culture. That's it. Just change the culture, right? I mean, that is a massive undertaking. And so I know that we have not been able to do that without your assistance and with your buy-in. And I know that there are great things that are coming from this. It is amazing also to know that we're coming to the end of the second year. And I imagine that even greater things will be in the future. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for your input and for your participation in this. And here's to continued success with change making. Thank you.
And if you ever spend any time on the NWCC campus, you know you probably will see Senator Stephen Brewer lurking around there somewhere. So thank you for coming, Senator Brewer. We're also really honored to have Mayor DiNatale here. Thank you very much for being here.
She doesn't have to invite me up, I just come up. I'm like trained to do it. Hi, everybody. Wow, there's so much energy in this room, huh? All these educators, scary stuff. I probably would have been thrown out of most of your classes, but you know, other than that, Vipin came over to me before. Where is Vipin? Where is he? Did he escape? Oh, there he is. You know the energy, you make me tired after you leave talking to me. It's like, oh my God. But it is, it's great stuff. And this is what we do better in the North County. Fitchburg, Leominster, Gardner. We do better than anywhere else because we take it for granted, and that's collaboration and people working together. And something that change making, I noticed that a reoccurring theme is empathy. I like that. Let's add also responsibility in there as well, right? For our young folks. Doing great stuff. We've got more things planned. Vipin and I have talked about some other initiatives in the future. Lauren, thank you, and enjoy. Have a great presentation tonight.
And then I also wanted to welcome Representative Natalie Higgins. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for being here tonight. I was really thrilled when Lauren reached out to see if I could join you because some of you might know, but not all of you know, that I was a youth venturer when I was in Leominster High School, and that's how I met then State Representative Jim Flanagan. So I give Youth Venture and the United Way all the credit for putting that bug in my head that I might want to run for office one day. So you started it. But I am just so proud of what that program has evolved into and this new iteration of Changemakers, of really empowering our students to know that they're our future and they can be doing it right now. And taking them seriously and giving them the tools and the support so that they can make our communities better. So thank you all for supporting this program.
And then last but not least, the fearless leaders of our partnership, conveniently sitting together, thank you guys, Paula Deacon and Bob Jokala, the superintendents of Leominster and Fitchburg respectively. So thank you for your leadership. I just want to point out a couple things. So one is we have this extremely hot off the press, like it might burn you because it came off the press at like 1 p.m. today, Change Making Magazine. And the reason why we created this is because if there was a theme to this year, it was stories, stories, stories. And this doesn't even this tells maybe a third of them. There are so many incredible things that happened this year. And we wanted to put this together so you all could walk away and take something, for those of you who did change making, to commemorate the wonderful things you did, so you could see yourself through our eyes, how special you are. But also for those of you who are newer to Changemakers, so you can understand what change making looks like to different people and in different ways. So please grab one of these if you haven't already on your way out. You can also use it as like a little tour guide as you're going along and looking at the exhibits. Changemakers, we have certificates for you that we want to give out so you get your continuing credits, so we make sure you get those before you leave. And I also want to recognize a very important group tonight, our Changemaker trainers. Would those of you who went through the Changemaker training program step out onto the dance floor, please? Craig. I see you. Where's Paula? Who else? Sue, yes. Where's Michelle? Yeah, you. George Grossman. Okay, so where's Sharon? Okay, well she's hiding, or she's very shy. So we have this fearless group of individuals right here. They volunteered themselves for further change-making torture and time with Vipin, and he really put us through the ringer. He had us walking backwards, barefoot in circles. Yes. But we had a 2-day training in October, and we met again in January. And these folks are critically important to change making because they are helping us to sustain and grow this. So it's not just Vipid flying back and forth to Massachusetts all the time. It's these folks who are now empowered and able to expand change making within their schools, districts, organizations. So thank you guys so much. All right, so one final thanks that I want to give right now is to Rachel Bargeletis. Where is Rachel? There she is. So we were very honored to receive a grant from the Commonwealth Corps for Massachusetts Service Alliance Commonwealth Corps program. And what that means is we had one person full-time for this entire year as a service person. So Rachel has served 1,500 hours this year to do everything that she does. And to get a little understanding of what she does, she's organizing those check-in meetings with all of you. She's pulling together logistics for events like this and all of our co-creation sessions. She's doing all the behind-the-scenes stuff on Google Drive and making sure you guys have registrations and tracking that. She did a lot of the reporting that went into this magazine. She also created a very special project that she'll be revealing to you in a little bit. But at this point, I want to invite Rachel up to share what her experience meant to her this year.
So, as all of you now know, I'm a Commonwealth Corps service member this year with United Way Youth Venture, and my term of service is coming to an end this month, specifically June 29th, which I'm pretty sad about, but a lot of great things happened this year, so I just wanted to reflect and talk about my experience just a little bit in these 10 months serving North Central Mass. So over the course of these 10 months, working side by side with all of you, I have met extraordinary people, aka you guys. Honestly, every single one of you, every single time I left those schools, those meetings, I walked away learning something. I was impressed by something. And honestly, I really like the quote, leave me smarter than you found me. And I can say without a doubt that no matter what, all of you have helped me in my growth, the way I think, my learning, my mindset, my life in general, and I have always left smarter than you found me. So I have made connections that I've only dreamt of making. I've made impacts that I have never even dreamt of making, but here I am today, and it feels great. And better yet, though, I would like to mention, I think the best part of this past year, I was thinking about since Vipin asked me earlier, what was like the best thing that you learned? I think it was just becoming a part of this amazing change-making community, this open and honest community of change makers, because I finally feel like I'm home, quite honestly. And this year, being fully immersed in change making has taught me many things, like I just mentioned. To highlight a couple more, which I'm really proud about, I've grown to believe in myself, which might sound silly, but if you knew me in prior years, that's like, wow, Rachel believes in herself, like what? And specifically, like to believe in myself and my power that I can make a difference, I can spark positive change. Like this year has given me immense confidence in my own abilities, my professional skills, and in that I'm a change maker. And just saying that feels powerful. It's powerful. So listening to you all through the ups and downs of this year has meant a lot to me, because you've all opened up to me, been vulnerable with me. So I just want to thank you so much. And this year has also held some transformational change and ups and downs for myself. And all of you have seriously inspired me with your resilience. I feel like I've gained more grit and yet more compassion, and I've learned my own boundaries just through this year's journey with all of you. My biggest place of transformation, I'm really proud to say actually, has been in my own future plans, which some of you might know. So I've learned obviously what it means to be an educator a little bit in this incredibly fast-paced and ever-changing society that we now live in. I've listened to you all and helped as best as I could in this process with you. So I've kind of shifted a little bit, and I decided that I want to transfer my role from a change-making innovator, which I've been this year, to a change-making educator alongside you guys. So, you know I mean it, and I mean it well when I say that I would not be the person I am today if I did not have every unique and individual experience that I did with every single one of you. It's completely transformed my life, and I'm so incredibly thankful for you. Because quite honestly, North Central Mass, this change-making community here, it has a passion for education, teaching, but also learning and creating change makers like nothing I've ever experienced in my whole life. Like, it is immense. You guys have helped me find myself and what it is I plan to do for this one beautiful and bountiful life I have ahead of me. And I now understand my higher calling to continue to build an ecosystem of change makers alongside you, which is huge. And I know if I can become half as good an educator as all of you are, then I know I will be succeeding in my role. So thank you all so much for being an integral part of my growth, my joy, my success this past year. And thank you for teaching me about myself, our community, and the larger world around us. And thank you so much for being open and receptive and for joining us on this changemaker journey, because not everyone did. So thank you so much for even joining. I will honestly never forget this special time as a change-making innovator, and I take pride in knowing that I will always be part of the changemaker community here, as I know all of you will too. So this year may be coming to an end, but I can assure you that this is not the end of all the amazing things to come out of North Central Mass. So thank you. All right, and to intro into this covert surprise, I guess, I've been working on for the past 2 months. I know that I can sit here, or stand here rather, and thank you guys a million times over and over again, but what really means the most is when it comes from the people, the students, the kids that you work with every single day. So, and honestly, actually, some of you have been really, really hard on yourselves this year, like really hard. And like you think that you thought, hopefully, that change making is a mold that you must fit into, otherwise you're not making the desired impacts, the desired positive impacts. But I hope you all know now that that is not the case, and you are all making amazing impacts in your students every day as change makers. So to emphasize this, I created a video for you guys of your students. So I hope you all enjoy it. And we're having some technical difficulties, so bear with us. So we had everything ready to go, and it took so long that it all shut itself off. So we're going to get that up and going again. But I wanted to add to what Rachel said, that I think one of the challenges that we watched changemakers struggling this year was feeling like they were doing enough. And that was what the inspiration was for this. We had a conversation, I think, with Paula Giaquinto, and she said, well, you know, everything about education is all about measuring impact. And we thought to ourselves, how can we measure impact? How can we show and prove and demonstrate impact? And so that's where the idea for this video came up, was so that you could see the impact and hear it directly from your students, the impact that you are making in their lives. And so we did not plant questions. We randomly plucked students with the help of your principals. We said, who are some students that interact with these teachers? We didn't know if they were gonna like you or not. We didn't know if they were gonna like your class. But Rachel sat down with all of them and she asked them some kind of warm-up questions, and this video is the result of what they said about all of you.
That makes me feel like educators about me, and she really helps me a lot when I'm struggling. Because of Miss Montemiro, I feel like I have the power to change the world. I like how she encourages me to try new things and work harder.
that's most there for me and like listen to the most is for sure Dr. Hawkins.
I spend a lot of time in the library, and I definitely don't think that I would if she wasn't there.
I think Dr. Hawkins made FHS good for me.
I think that Dr. Hawkins definitely made an impact on my experience at Fishburne High.
Honestly, because the woman that inspires me the most in the building, and I say that because she's honestly a very great listener, and she's very poetic. She definitely is a reason that I do come to school. She just lets me know that there's somebody in the building that cares, and just taught me to just accept myself for who I am and just take me for me.
He wants his students to be successful, and he wants everyone to like do the best that they can. Tries to like encourage kids to like get involved in like the learning and be interested. That's what makes him a good teacher. Like, I totally trust Mr. Penn. I think he's very motivated to make sure all of his students are successful.
Ms. Barnaby is good at listening and having everyone's opinion be heard. Ms. Barnaby makes me feel like I matter. Ms. Barnaby does the meditation with us on Friday, and it helps us relax and take the pressure off of us.
I look forward to that class every day. I just love going to that class. It's so much fun, especially when we do meditation. That's my favorite part. Everyone in the class was like, they were like, about it. Like, they thought it would be boring. But now everyone in the class loves it. With meditation, I've learned to look at things like a different way. Like, not get stressed out, and if I'm getting stressed out, just take a deep breath, take a minute by myself, and look at how I want to finish this and how I want to move forward. And I think the meditation that we've done has definitely helped.
I have grown a lot with Mr. Barnaby and both of the teachers because they're like, you can see the trust and you can see the way they treat other students. Mr. Khan and Mr. Barnaby really make the class interested. It's like one of the classes you really want to go to. The environment they create and the way they teach makes you like more comfortable in the class. They care about each, not only me, each student.
Honestly, it's nice to have a teacher that you see care, and it's really nice to have a level of respect and confidentiality within the class. Burns is a great teacher. She really shows her qualifications, and she shows that she really does care about her student. I think that she's a great person, great teacher. She's a good conversationalist as well. She's amazing at that. She constantly shows like a mutual level of respect, and it's just awesome to have her as a teacher, have someone to talk to. I've learned a lot about individuality, and I've learned that we have a lot of good in the world. We just need to amplify it a little bit better. It's easier to focus on the negativity, but in Ms. Grimes' class, you really start to learn about the positivity and just all the good that's happening in the world. I think Ms. Grimes has definitely empowered me to change the thoughts of bad into better. I do want to have more of a positive impact in the world and really work towards having a good future for me and the others around me. I think that Ms. Grimes, she should really shoot for her goals, her dreams, because they're honestly really important. I think they really could help the world.
Yeah, I talked to her about what's going on in my life. She asks us questions. She asks everyone questions. It's not just like, oh, me telling her. It's her asking me. It's nice knowing that Miss Renner is here for me for my whole high school career since I'm like a freshman, and she's gonna be there for me until I'm leaving. It's not she's just like teaching us in front of the class. She's teaching us things that will make us successful in life, and not only it's just our school.
I learned many things I didn't learn before, so I feel like now I have a better understanding of science than I did, and like I feel like I've grown as a person because of how much I've learned that subject.
I feel like having my sister call as a teacher, I've gone to school.
Because of Ms. Cole, I feel that the school itself is better because of the way she teaches the students and the way she cares for the personal and scholastic.
She has a variety of resources, I feel like that's very helpful. She tries to find new ways to get the subject through to you.
I think I'm going to the school definitely because of the different subjects she learns in the school that she teaches, which is very different than the other science teachers.
Something that I like most about her is that she teaches us new things and she pushes us to join us.
Ms. Fantasy was really fun and supportive when we chose to do our research project on what we wanted, which was a little bit different than how our teachers usually taught us.
Mrs. Feminisi was a really great teacher. She let us do what we wanted to do. I was really happy.
She supported all of our ideas like a lot.
Ms. Feminisi made like learning way more engaging. It was really fun.
I learned a
think I really improved my more roundabout ways of thinking. Like I learned how to solve problems on a less linear scale.
Ms. Beckner is great because she listens to our ideas and she is really easy to talk to.
Ms. Beckner is really devoted towards all of the students being successful.
My favorite thing about Ms. Beckner comes to me, we're more free to like learn at our own pace and like take information in at our own pace.
I do trust her, yes, very much.
Yeah, I'd say that Ms. Beckner is definitely a change maker.
Mr. Puma listens to me the most. I get really distracted when it comes to math because I get really bored. But whenever Mr. Puma comes through the door, it's like he's almost leaving me. Makes learning a lot more interesting. Mr. Puma's probably the funniest teacher. One of my favorite parts of spending time with Mr. Puma is when it's simulations. I like the simulations because he says we can create anything we want. I'm very creative. So he puts some of his stuff with some of our ideas, and it makes a huge idea that we both need to get there as an idea. We laugh, we play, we do fun stuff when it comes to simulation.
She's my favorite teacher because she's just so nice and so understanding. She's very open to all of our opinions and what we have to say. She likes to listen to our ideas about, like, she likes to talk about what she can do better and what we can improve on in the classroom. I never had a teacher that did that before.
Lucy understands me the most because I have gone through a lot this year and I have to learn everything. And she has taught me through things and like helped me through a lot.
Because of having her as a teacher, made the school better.
Miss Little understands me the most. Miss Little really values her students, makes sure they're successful.
I do feel like I've grown as a student, with academically and like emotionally.
Miss Little is awesome because she really gets the fun of learning.
Miss Marcia understands me the most. Like, she does a lot for our school and she betters our school. If we didn't have Miss Marcia, we probably wouldn't have as much events we had and all the good stuff.
Mrs. Martian is great because she helps us understand a lot in the world and about the world, and she tries to prepare us to get ready for high school and other things.
I think I've grown as a person from Miss Martian.
I'd like to say thank you for helping me and doing things outside of what teachers normally do.
My favorite teacher at Skyview is Mr. LeClaire because he always makes me laugh and his class is really funny. He makes it go way better. I feel like Mr. LeClaire makes me feel like I matter. He teaches me how to be a better person, and he's our ally in the adventure, so he always helps us be better people and change makers. Mr. LeClaire is great because he makes me laugh and he makes me feel smarter after his class. I feel like I've actually grown a lot in having Mr. LeClaire as a teacher. He really encourages me a lot. I think feel better about I call him that. My favorite teacher is Ms. Margarita. I feel like I'm a change maker because of Ms. Margarita. Mrs. Margarita is great because she understands people and makes people feel better. Ms. Margarita had me feel better. The adult in the room that I feel most is Ms. Margarita because she's kind and she's always there when we need her.
I definitely feel that school is better than having my good teacher because with being able to talk to her and having that connection with her, I can during her classes, it's much easier for me to and listen to her and she explains everything she's very
Miss Murphy does make learning fun. She tries to make it more hands-on sometimes instead of just going off on the screen.
I'm much more sure of myself because of
talking to her and like her giving advice. Like I've used her advice before, and so like it has worked. So it's like I feel better as a person, and like now I can do certain things.
Mr. Trainer is a great fun guy. Mr. Trainer is one of my favorite adults in the building. I definitely think Mr. Trainer is a change maker.
Yeah, he like at school he welcomes kids, nice to them, funny, tries to make them feel like comfortable here.
I feel like Mr. Trainer does make the school a better place. I think I have grown as a person having Mr. Trainer around.
Miss Dutton is great because she's very helpful in other ways. Because she always listens when we have questions, and she's a great teacher. She makes me feel lonely because I'm part of her change-making group, and she's very nice to me and very kind, so that's why I feel like she's valued. Miss Dutton is great because she helped me. We had Dr. Seuss Day for reading. She helped me build on my confidence to do that. And so I went out to classes, reading to them, and like my book was, "What do you do with a chance? You take it." Miss Manning is great because she helped me with my team papers. Well, we had a problem with the bathroom, like disrespecting the bathroom and all that stuff. We told all the people on stage, and she helped me with confidence too on stage. Miss Dudley and Miss Manning helped me be empowered to do things that I didn't do before. I feel like I'm ground to the Mrs. Roberts. The favorite teacher is Mrs. Roberts. I remember her. I think I learned from Miss Morrison the most. Miss Morrison is great because she adds views sometimes into the learning. And she makes learning fun. I think I grew up as a student because of Mrs. Morrison and Mrs. Roberts.
So I was watching that video thinking, I wish I had my teachers as crazy as that. You know, how many of us adults in this room wish their teachers was as crazy as that? That was it. Especially my maths teacher, 8th grade, very, very hard. I just want to say, let's see, for some reason I have this memory in my head, and this was way back in August 2011 or so, when I first moved to the United States. So some of the details are slightly fussy, so just be patient. So I was in, for some reason I can't remember, I was in this guy's house in Rhode Island. And it's this middle-aged white dude who had written a book on his experiences being part of the civil rights movement. And he was telling me about all kinds of trouble. I think he was in Tennessee, and he got into all kinds of trouble because he, in his college years, he chose to hang out with the African American community, and his white friends were like, what the hell is wrong with you, right? And so the story unfolds, and he's written a book about it, but the story unfolds in, he told me that once he was doing his, I think he was planning to do his thesis on the civil rights movement, which was unfolding at that time in the 70s, and he was in the Martin Luther King came down to speak at his local church, and there was like a bunch of really highly influential people in the movement on that church for that gathering, and the cops came, and he was terrified because if he knew that the cops came and he was in the church, he's going to get into a lot of trouble with his parents and I'm guessing the adults in his life. So apparently, Mr. King said, I'll go to the front of the church and engage the cops, and you run out through the back door. And as he was trying to run, he tells me that Rosa Parks catches his hands, and she looks at him directly in the eye and says, at some point, you have to stop studying history, and instead do something about it, right? Now, imagine me just off the boat 2 months into the United States. I'm just sitting on the edge of the chair, and I was like, well, and then what happened, and then what happened? And my question to the author was, how does it feel like to be part of history? That was my question, like how does it feel like to be part of history? And his response always stayed with me. He said, it never felt like that. And it struck me, right? Like when you're doing something powerful, something which moves the needle on any topic in society, while you're in it, it just feels like your day-to-day life. It just feels like you're doing something because you're driven by a strong sense of conviction, a strong sense of passion, and if you're lucky, you're not the only one. And as I'm listening, and I have had the privilege, just a delightful privilege to be coming back here to this community, meeting you incredible people over the last 2 years, and as I was listening and these stories were being unfolding this evening and over the last 2 years, I truly believe that this is what it feels like to be part of history. Because in a country which is being torn apart because of the polarization, we are rebuilding the center. The center meaning center where people are coming together. People are saying, I might disagree on your political opinions, I might disagree on who you vote for, and we care about our children. And then we will find a common pathway to work together because our children and our young people and this and the next generation is important. This community is important. So I just feel like there is something magical which is mushrooming in this community. And this morning I was talking to the YMCA in North Carolina, and they've been given this big amount of money to reimagine healthcare in 7 different districts. And the stories I'm telling them on how to do healthcare differently is looking at the way you guys are working together to change the conversation around education. We were talking last week to a place in Western Massachusetts where a community is ravaged by the opioid crisis. But how do you bring a new consciousness, a new mindset into solving some of these complex, complicated problems we are facing as a society. And I truly believe that the spirit of generosity, the spirit of willingness, the spirit of agency and empathy, which these school district leaders and the mayor's office and the community college is showing, somewhere in this process is the secret sauce to unpacking what does this look like for the rest of the country. So I just want to say I'm excited because my philosophy in life is how do I make myself irrelevant? Like because I don't need to be. So the more and more I come here, I feel like we're getting to a place and tipping point in this country, in this community, where the school districts and the community colleges and the teacher preparation colleges and hopefully the mayor's office, I just tried to get him excited about it. But I told him first, we need to get him re-elected first, and then we'll get the mayor's office excited. So I just want to say thank you. And I also want you to know that the stories of inspiration, compassion and courage which this community is demonstrating, my job I see is as a storyteller to go to other communities around the country and around the world to say, look at what North Central Massachusetts is doing, and then if they can, so can you. Thank you very much.
So before we conclude the speaking portion of our evening, I just want to ask all the people who participated in change making this year to come into the middle. I want us to make a circle in the middle, please. So first of all, I want you to be able to see the group all together so they're easily recognizable. But some of you may remember how we concluded some of our sessions, right? So some of our sessions, how did we conclude them? Remember? We just did a little huddle. So let's all come and lean on each other. All right? One last time this year. We will all have had this experience together. Thank you all for all that you do. And congratulations for a fantastic year. Okay? And more next year. Thank you. Now let's celebrate. Now DJ George here is going to crank up the volume, so if any of our little kids want to get the dance party started, please enjoy food, relax, go around to each other's exhibits, take time before you go to congratulate one of the change makers, ask them about their experience, thank them for their leadership, okay? Thank you all for coming tonight.